Hello, chess lovers. This is Soren, your favorite chess teacher, and I came now with a bunch of ideas for you to tackle the London game. So I know that for many players, the playing against the London system is the bane of their life, because it's a very solid, robust, and very efficient way for White to open up and play the game, right? So I'm just trying actively to present to you guys ideas for wherever I can find them to play against the London system. Okay, so let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. So there we go with the d4, knight f6, and now they might have played c4, they might have played the Queen's Gambit or something, but hey, they want to go with the knight f3. And now you can already now anticipate that the intention is simply to just go with the London game here. Fine. Now, if you could play d5 here, you could play d5, you could play c5. There's nothing wrong. There's very valid ways to play against the London, but I would suggest the so-called Polish variation with b5 being played right at this very moment. So we push the b5 pawn. Now this is a sideline. It's not a main line. It's a sideline. And good stuff about it. And what I do appreciate is that the Queen's light square bishop wants to be fianchettoed. Okay, so you want to get that bishop on b7, and that looks very, very juicy, very nice, very beautiful diagonal to exploit with the bishop on b7. I just like it. And there is more to it. Just bear with me a second. So bishop f4, that's the classical setup. We know what's coming. Is e3, c3, knight bd2, bishop d3. We know what's coming, okay? So bishop b7, to be expected from black, because white would have imagined, okay, so b5, probably the guy wants to fianchetto. Obviously, e3. And now you are pushing the b4. And I know that goes against the principles of the opening. Don't play twice the same piece in the opening. Don't move the pawn twice in the opening. Now, there is a little subtlety here behind the b4. It's an attempt to frustrate White's setup. It's not a ticket that guarantees that black would be victorious or something, but definitely it's an attempt, especially because it will be followed with c5. It chips away at White's pawn structure. Okay, so c5 is a main idea in the refutation of the London system. And now because you played the b4, b4 challenges a possible c3, and c5 challenges the d4. So you just try to dismantle and put White, if possible, in a sort of discomfort scenario. So you're just trying, doing your best with black. Okay, so bishop d3, nothing wrong. Again, it could have been played knight bd2, it could have been played c3, a3, castle kingside. These are very valid and good ideas. But hey, we continue with c5, exactly as we said. c5, let me just nicely highlight these with blue. I love it. So c5, b4, great. Okay, so it's not something that London system players would be expecting to fighting against. So I think this is a very nice setup. This quick expansionist pawn moves on the queen side for black against the London style, I think it's very good. So now again, it doesn't mean that White has to capture on c5. Very well, White can play c3, a3, to which you may reply a5 or a6. Okay, so these are all possibilities. But let's just assume that they might be capturing on c5. Very natural e6 move, now revealing the dark square king's bishop that wants to take on c5. And here there is a moment that White might be thinking, look, I'm going to play bishop to d6 here. There is a possibility they would be playing bishop to d6. Hey, if they don't, you're going to take on c5 anyway. Okay, so this is already a sort of position here that probably not very comfortable with White. Again, it doesn't mean that you playing this with black now you're going to win. No, it doesn't mean that. What it means is that it's an exciting way for you to try and play against the London system. Okay, so bishop d6. The reason might be for why, the psychological reason, because it's to be expected knight to jump on h5 and harass the bishop anyway. So probably one psychological way for dealing with that little bit of a setback is bishop d6, to which we take, pawn takes, queen to b6. What does that mean? Well, the queen will take the pawn back. In this Indian game anti-London Polish variation, the queen on b6 now will be capturing the white pawn on d6 back for sure. Okay, and the idea would be further ideas for black. Queen very nicely will be reposition itself on c7 because you want to push yourself, perhaps the pawn at some point. You want to play the knight to c6. You want to castle the king. You want to go eventually with a5. So I think this setup is very good. I think it's totally worth it. I wasn't able actually to find this particular variation in action. I went to Chess24 platform. I went to chess.com lead chess. I haven't tried on other platforms. I would give it a go. I've asked a couple of friends of mine, so I will be coming up with some demonstrative, illustrative games played in this particular variation. But in the mentioned platforms, I wasn't able to find something in the archive, played. So I think it's totally worth going with the Polish variation with the b5, b4, and then c5. And it looks very good. I like it. I think I prefer this setup with black way more than any other semi-Slav being played or King's Indian. I think I like it very much. I'll give it a go in a couple of games, and if it's something notable, I'll be sharing with you guys more ideas. So briefly, just wanted to present it to you guys. This Indian game anti-London Polish variation. Just as a means for you guys to acquire more valuable ideas in your repertoire and arsenal to try and refute the incredibly robust London system for white. So remember the b5 to be followed with bishop b7 fianchetto, which is incredibly natural given the fact you just push the b5 pawn. Very likely e3. Of course, b4, it just looks very nice. It kind of challenges the c3, and the c5 will challenge d4. So I think this is great. This is absolutely great. I like it. I just like it. I totally like it. So these are very good ideas. Okay, in case the bishop g3, probably you will be, yes, harassing that bishop at some point and getting rid of it. The c5 white pawn will be taken back, and if they oppose it, you will take it back with queen to b6, which will take back the d6 pawn. So again, knight c6, castle king side, a5, I think looks good. And let's see what white comes up with in the middle game now. It's already the stage of the middle here. So I think this is good. We've got a nice double we got the E and the D pawns, which can be wisely maneuvered, that I'm envisaging already a possibility if queen goes away. So we captured that guy, the D6, okay? And now, okay, let's just, so now I'm just playing now. Let's just assuming something like queen to c7. Well, of course, there are many things that white might be playing here. I don't know which one is the strongest. If it's e4, if it's c4, if it's knight c4. But I'm envisaging that after castle on the king side and knight c6, I think we might be just able to try to pushing d5 and maybe rook on e8, also supporting this pawn to going forwards. So I think I like this very, very much, pushing those guys forwards in the center, backed by the bishop, by the knight, and by the queen. I think looks very, very playable. So I like the prospect for black in this position here. And I think it's a good way to play against the London system. So, boys and girls, chess friends, chess lovers, there was very briefly more ideas being added to your repertoire against London. And, give me some comments if you think you've discovered something that works very good against the London system pattern. And we'll be engaging into more chess ideas together. Thanks very much, my chess friends. I'll see you very soon.